Andrew Smith from Pneutech. Here today to talk to you about the Mack pulse valve ROIs that we can provide to our customers. It's a way of reinforcing the investment in the Mack pulse valves to improve the performance of your dust collectors. So here's an example of one that we've prepared for the purpose of this discussion. But to take you through the different components that we can present to you as a customer. Some of this information we've got to get from you, some of it we're collecting on site. We've got a few tools to collect this information, but what we're doing is then presenting a really comprehensive report to you to show you the savings that can be generated from putting in the Mack pulse valves. First line there is obviously the net investment, so that's based on the type of pulse valve that we're putting in and the adapter plate, which sits right on top of where the groin valve was, so there's no additional plumbing required. And then that becomes the total cost for this particular project, of which there's 14 pulse valves in this one. The next line there is the maintenance savings. We collect this information from the customer directly, which is then based on the amount of maintenance required for the diaphragm valves that are in place on this particular dust collector. That might be every 18 months or every 2 years, going in and replacing the diaphragm, some other components of the valve to ensure that it continues to operate to the level of performance that it should operate at. Comparing that then to the Mack pulse valve that goes in, there's no maintenance required for that pulse valve for 10 years. So obviously there's going to be a difference there and there's going to be a saving there. The big one there though is the energy savings. We take it back to the energy required for a dust collector to work is all taken back to the compressed air consumption. It requires electricity to create the compressed air. So if we minimise the use of compressed air, we're reducing the use of energy required to run this dust collector. Then comes back to how the valves perform. A Mack pulse valve will open and close much quicker than a diaphragm valve and will have a greater force going through it, a greater flow going through it. So it's required to open and close fewer times than the diaphragm valve to do the same job as the diaphragm valve. So taking that over 168 hours a week and 52 weeks of the year becomes a really significant saving for the Mack pulse valve there. Then comes down further in the system to the filter. The Mack pulse valve will clean the filter more completely than the diaphragm valve and will be required to clean it less frequently, going back to the use of compressed air. So you'll require fewer filters going through the life of this dust collector. Then the next one is other process improvements. So somewhat of the nirvana for us from when we're working with a customer. If we understand that the dust collector is inhibiting growth, so it's inhibiting production, because in terms of collecting all the particulates and doing it at such a speed that it only allows production at a certain rate. If we can improve the way that we're collecting the particulates and allowing production to speed up, it's not a saving, it's an increase in productivity and it's a significant increase in revenue. So that's it, it flows all the way through. We then have an annual saving. We can see that there, $18,622 against the net investment for this example of $12,389. So we've got an ROI of 0.665 years, so about 8 months. And then we've got our carbon savings, which we calculate off the energy savings. So 63,655 kilograms of carbon. And really you can times that by 10, because that's how long these Mack pulse valves will last, and you can times the annual savings by 10, because again, that's how long these pulse valves will last. So significant savings off a relatively small dust collector. Some of our customers have 10, 20, 30, 40 dust collectors across their site. So when that's multiplied across the multiple dust collectors, significant savings for our customers. Thank you.